So welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're going to be replacing the ECM in this 1993 Chevrolet S10 two-wheel drive 4.3 automatic. It's got the 4L60E transmission, so it's a little bit different. First year of that tranny. So anyhow, first thing you want to do is disconnect the battery. I actually disconnected both sides of the terminals. I just wanted to make sure. And go to the inside of the truck. Go to the passenger side. And here is the original ECM that came out of the truck. Original. The problem with it was causing many issues. I had 3 common codes that would not go away, which was code 14, code 43, and code 28. 43 was the knock sensor, and this engine is a balanced shaft block, so it has 2 knock sensors. I replaced both of them, and I replaced code 14, which is coolant temperature sensor. That still didn't make the light go off. The code kept coming back. And the code 28 I didn't touch because that was for the transmission. Something about pressure switch error or something like that. So anyway, done a bunch of research, and I wasn't getting any power to the coolant temperature sensor connector. So when I looked up the wiring diagram, it led back to the ECM. So I was like, okay, so I'll go to the junkyard, get another one, throw it in there, and see what happens without spending a bunch of money. I did that. That took care of the stumbling issue, the running poorly problem, the power loss that I had. It took all that away. It was stumbling pretty bad, popping through the intake, and it just had no power, wouldn't go nowhere. And the engine just didn't sound right, especially when it got up to temperature. When it was cold, it was fine, but when it got up to temperature, that's when it started having issues. So that fixed all that. Anyhow, now that the engine sounds healthy and seems to be okay, now I'm having transmission problems. From first to second gear, it hits hard. Like, I mean, very aggressive, like it has a shift kit in it, or like it has a stall converter, something like that. I mean, like it barks the tires. That's how hard it hits whenever it hits second gear. It's only from first to second. Third and fourth and overdrive is a very hard, firm shift, but from first to second, I mean, it barks the tires. That's how aggressive it hits. So anyway, without talking so much, I went to O'Reilly's and got another one. Here's the part number, and this is the numbers that they go by, is these right here, I believe. And then I think the rest of it's like your VIN or something like that. But anyway, you got a bunch of like warning stickers all over the thing. Open it up, read this paper, which I've already done. You have to remove the prom chip, which is located under this panel plate. And what I mean is one of these guys, this right here, this actually fits in there. Basically, this is your software and your data for the engine and transmission in order for this vehicle to run right. For your specific year, date, everything, VIN is in this chip. You got to have this. You have to transfer it from your old computer to the new one. And I've already done that. The junkyard computer is still in the truck, so we got to remove that and get it out and put this one in. So, tools you're going to need is a 1/4 quarter-inch drive and a ratchet, and a 7mm to take these. There's a plate, mounting plate, dash dummy cover that goes right here. I've already removed it. This is what I was talking about, this thing. This was all tucked underneath here. I removed that, set that out of the side. Just get that out of the way. And you want to come right here. See this? Right there. That's a 7mm. And then the whole computer will come out. So go ahead and take that bolt out. And yes, that is a heater core leaking, if you've seen that. Pretty much after you take that bolt out, you're going to push it back like that, wiggle side to side, it could be a stubborn pain in the ass, I'll tell you that. And then she'll come right out. You can see where I wrote on it, so I knew which computer I had from what vehicle. I wrote down the mileage. And it also had the same transmission and everything as this one did. So, you're going to unplug this guy right here. Just pinch that back, pull that out. And then these are just, you push this tab in, and there's another one on the other side of the connector, both of them, and then you just wiggle them out. Just be very careful because these pins are very sensitive to bend or break. Alright, pretty much after you do that, just make sure the connectors are clean, they're not bent, they're not smashed, the wires look good, they're not frayed, they're not corroded, green looking. I am going to take a little bit of compressed air and blow these out just to make sure there's no dirt and debris in there so it gets a good firm connection. Same way with this one. So you got to take this cover off, which is the 1/4 I was talking about earlier. And then very carefully, now when you take this out, keep up, and I mean this, keep up of exactly how this comes out. You see how these numbers and the writing right here is backwards? Don't flip it around whenever you put it back in. See how this has got the numbers on this side and this side doesn't? Keep up exactly how it comes out. So these little tabs on the side, you're going to push down, and as you push down on the tab, it's going to take this chip and bring it up, which pops it out. Same thing on either side. And once it does that, just kind of wiggle a little bit and then bring it straight out. You can look at it, make sure it's clean as well, make sure the pins are not bent. Lay that like that. Take the new one, or refurbished one, and it says very firmly to make sure there's no electricity, something about built up, because it could do damage to the computer. I don't see how, but I'm just going to go with it. It has all that writing on the sticker. And we're going to firmly, easily, pull the sticker back. And you got to be very, very delicate with this. Like I said, same way you took it out. What I like to do is, since I've done this like 3 times now, is line it up. See the space, the crack right there? That crack lines up in that hole. You got to be very delicate with this. These pins are easy to bend. Once you kind of get it lined up, just slowly, easily. There should not be any force to this. Pushing it in on both sides. I would do this with both hands, but kind of holding the camera at the same time. And then they pop in. That one's already popped in and clicked, so that one's in. And I'm actually going to mark this original, that way I don't mix these up, just in case I take all this apart for some other reason and don't get these mixed up, because the other ones that I have from the other computers are actually the same numbers. Actually, that one's not. But anyway, alright, we're going to put the dummy cover back on, this little cover, and then we'll put it back together. Alright, the next thing you got to change over is this guy right here. There's a 10mm nut there, 10mm nut on the other side, and keep up with exactly how it's supposed to go on. Like, lay them the same way, and then take it off like that. and transfer it to the other one. Alright, after you switch that guy over to the other one and put the cover back on and the chip in, put these connectors back on until they click, make sure they're firmly, easily pushed back into where they're supposed to go, and they're color coded so you can't mix them up. I don't know what this is for, but it's unplugged, and I've got this big thing. Some of them I noticed have an extra plug here. Mine doesn't have that, and I don't know why, but anyhow, we're going to take and turn it just like this, and it's going to go straight up underneath the dash. There's a plate that comes down like this, like a trap door, and the computer fits in between it, the dash, and that plate. The plate holds it in. You got to push the plate out like this and then shove the computer up in there, and I can't really show you and do it at the same time. Alright, computer's back in. That little 7mm bolt's tightened down, and you can't exactly see it. Yeah, it's all tucked up into there like it should be. Battery's back in, hooked up. Hook up the positive first, always, then the negative, if you unplugged both terminals on the battery. If you didn't, then just plug the negative back up. And then get the key in. I guess we'll see what happens. See how she runs. Now, I've already been driving this. It was up to temperature, but it's been sitting here for about 30 minutes to an hour. Seems to be running alright. Alright. See what happens. Wow, it shifts beautifully now. Oh my gosh, man. I'm not kidding or exaggerating at all. That is 100% fixed. If you would have seen this truck before when it shifted, I mean, like, it was like hitting a ton of bricks when it would hit second gear. I thought the transmission was actually bad, or maybe the shift solenoid was bad. But I am very, very happy and glad that I switched computers first before doing anything else, because that was the issue. Let's go ahead and get it up to speed and see how it does. Make sure all the gears work. All right, let's go through the gears. There's overdrive. Shifting beautifully now. It's like a brand new truck. It's crazy insane just to think all that was just the computer. It was bad. I went through 2 computers from the junkyard and both did the same thing of the jerking and slamming from first to second. This one's from O'Reilly's, and I paid like right at $100, and then the core was $10 or something like that, 10 to $30. So you have to turn in your old computer that you got. Since I had 3, I just took one that I wanted to give it to them. This thing is shifting nice now. Let's give it the beans. Passes that test.